Welcome back to Moonkin Stitchery. My name is Crystal, and since the holidays are just around the corner, I wanted to make a couple of hot pads for myself with scraps left over from a layer cake. Now, disclaimer, I will be using leftover batting scraps, but since I am using batting scraps, do not use it to grab hot items directly out of the oven. If you are planning to make this so you can grab hot items out of the oven, you will need to purchase the proper thermal battings instead to protect you from the heat. So do not burn yourself, just a fair warning and a disclaimer. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. For one hot pad, you will need two 10-inch squares, also two 10-inch square battings. Once again, use proper thermal battings if you plan on grabbing hot items directly from the oven. And one 2.5-inch with the fabric for binding. First, you are going to be layering the two batting scraps directly on top of each other, followed by one 10-inch square. Then you're going to go ahead and flip it over and place the second 10-inch square on top, and you're going to go ahead and quilt it out. Now for the quilting, I want to do something simple, so I am just going to use an air erasable fabric marker and draw lines for me to follow when I quilt it out. Once you have quilted it out, you may need to trim the edges down or just square it back up. You can square it to a 9.5 or a 9-inch square, but I did not have that much shifting while quilting it out, so I'm just going to lightly trim my edges down. Once you've trimmed the edges down, do create a 1/4 inch basting stitch all around the edge just to help hold everything in place. Next, you will want to add the binding. Take your binding strip and iron it down in half. If you do not want to add a loop to your hot pad, then just sew your binding down like normal and you are done. If you would like to add a loop for your hot pad, you'll first pick a corner you'll want the loop to be on, and about 3/4 inch away from the corner, make a small mark. This is where you will start sewing your binding down. Then you'll go around the corner and start making your way around the whole hot pad. But towards the end, you will want to leave about a 5 to 7-inch tail. Do not completely sew it all the way down. Now turn the hot pad around, and at the corner you started at, fold it over like you would do to finish off your binding. I am going to start sewing about 4 inches give or take from the corner and make my way around that corner to the unfinished edge. When you get to the raw edge of the strip, do a couple of back and forth stitches just to really secure it down. Once you've sewed that corner down, with your binding tail piece, take the end and fold it over about a 1/4 inch and iron it down flat. Then go ahead and finish sewing the strip down to the hot pad like normal, but once you've hit that corner, you will just continue sewing off the edge and sew directly onto the binding fold together. Once you've hit the edge, do a couple of back and forth stitches again just to secure everything down. Now that your binding is sewn down, flip your hot pad over and start turning your binding around to the front. With the binding tail, you will see where you've sewed previously and it will start and want to fold over. So go ahead and take your iron and fold it over so that the raw edge will meet in the middle. Once ironed down, I do like to use plastic wonder clips to hold everything down in place. You can also use pins, whichever you prefer. Next, you'll want to fold it over one more time and go ahead and iron it down. And I like to put clips just to make sure and you hold everything into place. Once you have everything folded into place, you're then going to start sewing from that tail's end all the way down to the hot pad, and then go ahead and make your way all the way around the hot pad. Lastly, once you've sewed all the way around, you will want to take the tail end and fold it over to create your loop. There are a couple of ways you can fold it over like so, but just pick whichever you like and sew it down on the binding's edge. Do a couple of back stitches back and forth to make sure it's secure, and you're done. These hot pads are larger than a standard hot pad, but you can always trim it down to a smaller size. I do prefer them a little bit larger, especially during this time of year when you have family gatherings at the dinner table. But I do hope you've enjoyed this small project. This also makes wonderful gifts for family members. One layer cake package can complete 20 to 21 hot pads depending how much is in the layer cake, and you'll just need a couple yards of yardage for binding, but this is perfect for also your leftover scraps. If you could, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel. Also hit the notification bell so you can be notified for your next project. Thank you.